Bismillah and Assalamu alaikum. So our group will present the project entitled Knowledge of Fallacies in Logical Thinking Among Youth in Malaysia. As we all know, fallacies frequently happen in argumenting. For example, strawman fallacy. So in this study, we will go deeper on the understanding and implication of the fallacies among youth in Malaysia. Now we go to the symptoms of problem. First, unwillingness to challenge or question, which result in lack of independent thinking, thus accept any ideas without assessing their validity. Second, difficulties in constructing coherent arguments, which is to recognize errors in reasoning and forming logical conclusions based on evidence. Lastly, uncritical acceptance of information as it will lead to biased narrative and inability to evaluate the presented information.
So now we move to the observations of the factors contributing to the problem. First is cultural influence. Cultural norms in Malaysia often emphasize respect for authority, while this respect is essential, sometimes translates into a reluctance among youth to question information provided by authoritative figures. Second is lack of emphasis on media literacy in education. This is because youth need to be equipped with the skill to critically evaluate the information they encounter online. And the lastly is technological influence. This is happened because youth often accept information without subjecting it to critical examination.
So we move to the objective part. Our first objective is to assess the level of understanding and ability to identify the common logical fallacies among Malaysia youth and RIUM students. This will involve testing their knowledge of things like Stroman fallacies and many more. The second objective is to investigate the consequences of Malaysian young people or RIUM student lack of awareness about logical fallacies. This could include things like educational level, critical thinking interest, and media consumption, habit, and many more.
So we move to the methodology. So in this research, we use quantitative, which is we conduct surveys in the Google form. There are two sections which consist of 20 questionnaire. But section 1 is the understanding of fallacies, and the section 2 is the impact of fallacies. So the target of respondent is 150.
So now we move to the findings. For the first question, I can clearly define what constitutes logical fallacies like strongman ad hominem. A relative small percentage of respondents, which is 11.1%, express strong confidence in the ability to define logical fallacies. Second, a third of respondents agree that they can clearly define logical fallacies, and also an equal percentage of respondents are neutral. For the second question, I struggle to accurately identify these fallacies when they occur in writing arguments. A notable portion, which is 13.9%, strongly agrees with this statement. The majority of respondents, which is 59.5%, agree that they struggle with identifying logical fallacies, and a minority, which is 18.9%, are neutral. For the third question, which is informal logical fallacies are easy to spot in political speech or debates. A significant portion, which is 33.3%, strongly agree. Half of the respondents agree that spotting informal logical fallacies in political communication is straightforward, and a small minority, which is 16.7%, are neutral. For the fourth question, I need more examples illustrating the various types of reasoning fallacies. The majority of respondents, which is 94.4%, either strongly agree that more examples illustrating various types of reasoning fallacies are needed.
Question number 5. The usage of persuasive manipulation tactics often used in advertisement campaign. Most respondents with 57.1% agreed on the statement, while 28.6% strongly agreed and neutral with 11.4% and the other are disagreed. Next, question number 6. I can easily be influenced by emotive language while evaluating the validity of understanding argument. Most respondents with 38.9% agreed on the statement, while 11.1% strongly agreed and neutral 30.6% and the other are disagreed. Next, question number 7 is about the difficulties in evaluating the opposing view due to the confirmation bias. Most respondents with 50% agreed on the statement, while 16.7% strongly agreed and neutral 27.8% and the other are disagreed. And question number 8 is incorrect ideas and judgment are rarely used in casual conversation. Most respondents with 38.9% agreed on the statement, while 11.1% strongly agreed, and respondents who are agreed disagreed are 30.6% and the other in neutral position.
So now we move to the question 9. Fallacious reasoning should be emphasized more when instructing students on how to identify the fake news. So most of respondents, which is 58.3%, agree with the statement, and less of them, which is 5.6%, disagree. Next, question 10. Critical thinking skills that are developed in the classroom easily apply to the real world. Most of the respondents, which is consists of 44.4%, agree with this statement, and the less number of the respondents, which is 13.9%, disagree. So next we go to the first question in section 2 regarding the impacts of fallacies. First, fallacies and misinformation on social media are negatively impacting the akidah of Malaysian youth. So here, most of respondents, 47.2%, answered strongly agree, and small of them answered disagree, which is 5.5%. So question 12, Malaysian youth today have weaker conviction in their akidah due to influence from fallacies. So majority of respondents, which is 52.8%, agree with the statement, and small of percentage of the respondent, which is 2.7%, disagree.
Question number 13. Fallacies often portray a distorted view of Islam which can undermine the akidah of vulnerable youth. So most respondents, which is 75%, which including those who are strongly agree and just agree, indicating if fallacies could separate incorrect understanding of Islam that destroy young people core belief, while 25% remain neutral about this. Question number 14. Statement about current education system does not adequate equip Malaysians young people to avoid policy. Most respondent, which is 67.7%, which including those who are strongly agree and just agree, indicating Malaysia's existing education system does not effectively prepare young people to resist incorrect way of thinking, while 30.6% remain neutral about this, and just 2.8% disagree with this statement. Question number 15, the statement is fallacies can cause Malaysian young people to develop an incorrect theological worldview not aligned with Islam. So most respondent, which is 75 and 77.7%, which including those who are strongly agree and just agree, indicating that fallacies spread incorrect understanding of Islam, which can fundamentally influence young people worldview, while 19.4% remain neutral about this, and just only 2.8% disagree with this statement. The question number 16 is the statement about the lack of religious role models that act based on Aqidah make young people prone to believing fallacies. Most responding, which is 69.4%, which including those who are strongly agree and just agree, indicating that role models based on Islamic value and good behavior protect young people's mind, while 30.4% remain neutral about this, and no one disagree with this statement.
For question 17, the largest segment of the pie chart is green, which represent agree at 58.3%. This indicates that majority of respondents agree with this statement, while the disagree and strongly disagree are not visible, which means they have a very small or no percentage at all. For question 18, the largest segment in this chart is green, representing agree at 37.1%, while the strongly disagree are not visible at all, which means they have a very small percentage, or maybe there is no respondent on that category. For question 19, most respondents, which are 47.2% of the district respondents, answered agree, indicating they have the appropriate knowledge to recognize and avoid the influence of fallacies, while few selected neutral, disagree, strongly disagree, and none of them choose strongly agree. For question 20, there is a little bit gap between agree and neutral, which is 44.4% and 38.9%, indicating that some agree with the statement and some are neutral, while very few on disagree, and none of them choose strongly disagree and strongly agree.
So now we move to the recommendation part. For the first recommendation, we can promoting media literacy. As we know that developing media literacy programs can help youths critically evaluate information from various sources, including social media, news outlet, and online platform. Other than that, teach students how to fact check information and recognize bias of misleading content.
The next recommendation is increase engagement of positive religious role model with young people. As we know that Malaysian students or young people experience stress from a wide range of um, information sources as they seek an understanding of their identity. This is precisely they require the guidance from the teacher who effectively implement Islamic teaching and serve as positive role models in their communities, supporting strong Islamic principle and critical thinking.
Last but not least, we can promote knowledge of fallacies in logical thinking among youth in Malaysia by implementing public awareness campaign. We can launch public awareness campaign through various media channels, emphasizing the practical benefits of critical thinking skills. For example, like highlighting scenarios where recognizing fallacies can lead to better decision making in daily life. In conclusion, the survey on knowledge of fallacies in logical thinking among youth in Malaysia offer valuable insight into the current state of critical thinking education. The findings underscore the importance of implementing targeted initiatives to enhance awareness and understanding of logical reasoning among young Malaysians.